Drag makeup tutorial, baby. Let's go. Starting off once again by removing that shirt, popping on that wig cap, and cleaning the sides of my face with rubbing alcohol to apply the Pros-Aid for my face tapes. Tapping the Pros-Aid to make sure that it is tacky and semi-dry. It'll show up transparent when it's semi-dry. And popping on the face tapes, pulling back the eyebrows and my cheek skin, and putting a headband on for good measure to hold everything in place. Putting on the classic Elmer's glue stick to block out my brows. Once upon a time, I used to shave off my brows, and it made makeup so much easier, but I had to stop doing that for work-related reasons. Sketching out what I planned to do, which is give a decapitated head on a spike illusion. The classic, you know. And filling in all of the areas that I do not want to show up with black. I made the neck skinnier because I have a thick neck, and I wanted a nice little petite situation going on there. Close to the edges, I went in with a brush and just, made sure that it was neat and tidy. And that was a black cream stick that I used. Another layer of the purple glue, and then powdered that black to make sure that it was all locked in. In the past, I have put black on my chest and did not powder it quickly and ended up getting a big old black smudge on my face because I touched it without realizing. I added some silver to the metal spike, and then I went in and cleaned my mouth with rubbing alcohol and applied some Pros-Aid. And while I waited for that to dry, I powdered my eyebrows to take care of excess moisture from the glue, and I pushed my lips up into the Pros-Aid to give a kind of, I don't know what you would call it, creepy look. Then going back over that with liquid latex to make sure that it stays in place. And drying with a hairdryer. Cleaning under my eyes, again with rubbing alcohol, and applying more Pros-Aid. This is a Pros-Aid-y kind of day. The first layer of liquid latex dried, and I applied another. And now I'm going in with scar wax and creating a giant bag type thing under my eye. Not entirely sure what I was trying to go for with the scar wax this time. I was sort of just experimenting. Blending it out into my face. I've tried in the past to put scar wax on without Pros-Aid, and it is not a good idea. Don't do it. Going over the scar wax with liquid latex, not always necessary, but in this case, I did it. And going over my beard area with an orange color to cancel out the blue shadow from my facial hair. And going over my face with a primer, a putty primer, with a little extra on my nose, trying very hard to avoid the glue areas. And now, applying some foundation. In the midst of which I realized that I need to put black on my ears. So I started that process as well. And I'm using a liquid foundation from MAC. It's my fancy foundation that I really, really like. And just going over the whole face and the neck area with that foundation, and over the scar wax as well. Though I forgot the eye that you currently see on the left. I'll catch it later, don't worry. And now highlighting with a concealer, also from MAC, and blending it out with my Beauty Blender sponge. And there, you see, I am remembering to cover the other eye with foundation. Highlighting the neck, going in and adding a liquid contour, another liquid foundation from Macky Wacky. And now covering my ears with black in earnest and powdering the living daylights out of that to make sure that it does not get on my face. And just blending everything out with the Beauty Blender. Contouring the neck with the liquid foundation. Furthering the contour with a slightly darker liquid foundation. in all of the places that I touched on already, and adding the liquid nose contour, which is really just sort of the outline of what I plan to do with the powders later. And blending it all out, using a different sponge for the nose, because it was a little bit easier. And furthering the nose contour, still with a liquid foundation. And adding a highlight to the nose as well. Right now, the eyes, the scar wax under the eyes, is looking like good. I like it. It looks like I'm very tired, which is, I think, what I was going for, but it went a little haywire, as you will see. I powdered my face just to lock all of the foundation in there, and now I'm going over my eyes with a eye primer. Testing some contact lenses. I kind of wish that I went with these ones, a nice orange color, but I decided against it, and I decided to go with these blue ones because I was thinking that I wanted a nice, like, dead doll eye kind of look. And I needed to test out the contacts before picking the color that I was going to use for my eyes. I settled on blue, so I did orange eye makeup. So I ended up going over the scar wax with all of the colors that I did to create my new crease, and I'm not exactly happy with that decision. It worked out in the end, but if I were to do it again, I probably would do it a little differently. So I went in with an orange, blended it out, and then I progressively started adding darker and darker colors and blending that out into the lighter ones. With the lighter color being, you know, the most plentiful, most bountiful, and the darker less so. To try to give that nice, like, fade, that fade situation, you know what I'm saying? Now going in with the same cream stick that I put all over my chest and shoulders, and am adding the, what do you call it? Eyeliner. The black eyeliner. And I just used the cream stick. It's much cheaper than eyeliner. Not much, actually. A little bit cheaper. Easier to use, I think. And I'm going over the scar wax with it as well, essentially creating a giant eye. And then I decided to add a little smoky situation with powder. Going over the entire black liner with powder, by the way. That is a must. A black eyeshadow. And just sort of fiddling with the eyes. I was already starting to feel like I wasn't exactly pleased with the scar wax situation, but trying to make it work. Adding the eyebrows, did a very severe, angry eyebrow situation with this one. Eyebrows are the bane of my existence. They are difficult, and one of them always looks like I want, and the other one not. But what can you do? Highlighted under the eyebrow with white, by the way, a white powder. And dusting off the setting powder and adding some shadow under the eyes, decided to pop contact lenses in briefly so as to extend the blue of the eyes further down onto my eyelid to give the illusion of those big, staring, dead doll eyes, and just outlining that added blue with black cream. Those are both creams, by the way. Cream color. And powdered it. And now going back over it with eyeshadow. Blue eyeshadow and black eyeshadow, just to make those colors pop again after being dulled with the setting powder. Even though it is translucent, it dulls things nonetheless. Going into the inside of the eye, adding what I believe is white. I had fully decided at this point to just do a big eye kind of thing. And now I'm going back in with a teeny tiny brush and attempting to add veins. And I think I just used eyeshadow for this. And it got a little kooky. I ended up just sort of like splashing a bunch of colors in there, and then it all ended up getting covered with fake blood, as you will see later. Going in with a powder brown contour to make what I did with the liquid foundation pop further. And now is when I really work on the nose. It's always the powder that really brings the nose to life. And going in with darker colors progressively, dipping into my eyeshadow palette to get those darker colors. A smaller amount, progressively smaller and smaller amounts are used, the darker the color gets. And now going in with a white powder for the highlight. I use pressed powder. In my opinion, it just looks so much better and is infinitely easier to use than the loose stuff. I'm sure there's some reason why the loose stuff is preferable. I think it's what all the professionals use, but I don't get it. I don't know if anyone watching this knows. Drop a comment, tell me, educate me. I love the pressed powder though. Going in with a purple eyeshadow and blue as well. I think I worked with purple, blue, green, and yellow. Nice bruise colors, adding bruise under the eye and bruise around that twisted and deformed part of my mouth. Really what I was going for was a kind of decomposing head situation. So the mouth really is like sort of half rotted, as are the eyes. Big sagging pieces of flesh. And yes, as you can see, I am going in with a liquid lipstick, also from MAC. I really do love MAC products. They're just darn expensive, but worth it in my opinion, if that's something that you can swing. Highlighted the bottom of the decapitated head neck to make it pop against the black further, and dusting off all of the black that I added previously. And just sort of fine-tuning all of the bruises with eyeshadow. And adding bruise makeup to the severed area. Purple, blue, all of the colors that I used on my face. Blending it out. Fine-tuning, tweaking. And now trying to make that silver strip look like a pipe, just sort of going in with different things. I'm using a stipple sponge right there with a cream color to add some sort of bloodish effects, and powdering that to set it, spraying everything down, adding some shimmer, which wasn't really necessary for this look, but I like it. I like adding shimmer. It's fun, so I did it. Under the eyebrows, on the forehead, on the nose, of course. Adding lip gloss. I do love lip gloss, so I add it pretty much every time. And adding some lip gloss to my eye area to make it look wet. And making it drip down from my nose as well. More lip gloss. Now going in with blood gel. Blood gel. Annoying substance to work with, but worth it because it looks goopy and gooey and good. Triple G, baby. And it stays put. Unlike this stuff, which runs everywhere, but both are needed. Here I am adding it to the inside of my eye, and now taking a toothbrush and spraying the bottom of my neck to, make it look like my head got chopped off and it was a messy situation. Going in with brown tooth color. For some reason, I decided to pop in the contacts at this point. Those contacts were horrendous. They kept popping out of my head. Going in with black tooth stuff now. Adding the lashes. So when I pull my face back, it makes wearing these contacts very difficult. As you can see, I had to keep pulling them out and putting them back in, pulling the lashes off, putting them back in, but I got it eventually. And that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and here is the final transformation.